Hey everybody, I'm Bianca.
And I'm Latira, and welcome to Melanated Movie Moments.
All right, what is up? Hey, Latira.
Hey, Bianca.
We are here for a great night to talk about, well, maybe great night, to talk about the Oscars, the Academy Awards, whichever one you want to go to. And I want to how did you feel about these? I just want your opinion. I want your emotional opinion. What did you feel about the Oscars?
My emotional opinion was meh. Okay. Uh Overall, the Oscars, and I saw it on Twitter, many people said it, but in the moment as I was watching it and as it ended, I was like, this was the most anticlimactic night ever. Like it would I felt like we were on a roller coaster of good, great, bad, not good, maybe okay, bad again. And it wasn't even just about the awards that were given out, the people who won. It was the production of the show, like not having a host takes away from the show. I understand why they did it that one year, but I just don't think it's a good idea. um Moving best picture from the last award of the night, like why would you do that? Like it just does not make sense, especially if you are not 100% sure that you're going to get the response that everybody seemed to have think or thought that we would get for the show. Like it did not make sense. The show did not make sense. My favorite part of the show was the fashion.
But I do want to hop on the fashion because you brought up some people. So we're gonna
We're gonna
start
start
we're
with
gonna
fashion.
start with a little bit of fashion, a little razzle dazzle people had going. And
Okay.
I guess maybe I'll choose a little violence because I'm gonna start with one thing. Like Leslie from the neck down, I'm feeling you, bro. Like it was it was lovely. You know what I'm gonna say? I have a thing. It used to be 25, now it's 30. I have a hard time trusting a man over 30 with cornrows. I don't know why. It's just a thing. I'm sorry, Leslie. Do you? Don't worry about my opinion. But I was just like, is his hair braided up? But he looked good. He looked
At
like
least it was
a
neat.
statue. And Audra did look like a statue. She looked like the award that
She
everyone was
did.
bringing home, like stunning. I want to put a T on the end of it, just like period, but I don't know if it'll flow. But
It won't.
stunting. Look, we'll put it that she was stunting because she was
Yeah.
so stunning. Like it just
Yeah, she was beautiful.
gorge.
She was beautiful. Who else was beautiful?
Regina.
Regina, oh, of course. Regina can do no wrong. She can do no wrong.
She was why I had hope for the show at the beginning. I'm saying
Correct.
I'm gonna stay on the looks. So I'm gonna just stay there. But I mean, the looks weren't the only reason that I thought. But as soon as she floated, glided, flew, whatever, like that dress, that's a dress from someone that knows how clothes not only fit and appear and move on her body, but how clothes show up in different in lighting and in different
Yes,
situations. Because sometimes y'all, these outfits we see later, they
or
look
not.
better in person, or vice versa, they look better on TV. She knows what works for her, and she knows
Mhm.
how it photographs, how it moves, and how it looks on camera, because she was moving around. And for me, and there were multiple people that really did the thing. I guess folks were excited to be in
They were
person.
excited to be out.
So my boo Lakeith.
It jumped in.
Lakeith is gonna Lakeith. Lakeith is his
Lakeith
own
is
person,
going to
his own
Lakeith.
drummer. But I just want to hear what you think. I'm throwing that to you.
Listen, I would not expect anybody but Lakeith to wear that. Okay. It gave me Ike Turner slash Temptations back in the day when they were smooth as a fan.
Yeah.
And it was fly. It was fly. Like it fit him. Like if he would have worn a traditional anything, I'd have been like, oh, that's weird.
Right. You just
So
expect.
Lakeith was Lakeithing. That's what we're gonna call it. Lakeithing.
Ah, I love
And
it.
I appreciated his Lakeithing.
I I do too. I always appreciate Lakeith. I love it. I love
When
it.
you can be the characterization of yourself, you are amazing. I support it, Lakeith. Keep being great.
Well, let's move into this no host talk, at least
Mm.
briefly before we start running down the awards and circle back to that anticlimactic, strange, weird ending for multiple reasons. I felt like this is a show that really needed a host to help us transition from each part to each part and to each section, specifically because this show was going to be different than previous. And I felt like that's where some of the disjointedness, a good host might have been able to lean in and either bring up the energy, bring that, like kind of navigate the temperature as it kind of ebbed and flowed. And so not having that, I think really hurt as the night went on to me.
Yeah, so I'm not a fan of award shows without hosts. Like, I feel like you need those hosts. They're like commercial breaks, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like you need the host. What also threw me off is they had like a voiceover person, like they do with most award shows, but then we switched to a DJ. And I was just like, wait, what happened to the voiceover person? I'm so confused. And one gleaming moment where I was like, oh, like a host like situation was with Little Rel when he and Questlove decided to do the whole trivia thing. And I'm like, okay, yes, this is like that commercial break that you get in the award show. So that part was like, see, this is why you need a host. So I hope that moving forward, that they decide to return back to the platform of having a host. So we're going to start with some of these awards.
Yes, maybe? Let's jump in.
Which award would you like to start with first?
Ooh, I'm trying to wait for I'm not going to
start. Yeah. I don't want to go with the big three. Well, let's start here. Let's start with, I'm going to start with Best Supporting Actress. I loved her speech. That was a highlight of the night. Please pronounce her name for me, Bianca.
Ya Jun Yoon.
Yes, Miss Ya Jun Yoon was adorable. I loved her speech, especially when she said, Brad Pitt, why are you over there? I was like, oh, that is so cute. I enjoyed her speech.
Same. I loved her speech. I loved everything about her and that her energy, her excitement. She is also the first Korean actress. She's South Korean, but she's the first Korean actress, period. But I just wanted to clarify, she is South Korean. She's the first Korean actress to win that award.
The Best Supporting Actress.
And I think really the first to win an Academy Award. We'll verify that. But that speech was super cute. And I love the Brad Pitt thing. I was just like, she is 73 years young, by the way. And I just was like loving her having this moment and this energy and excitement. And, was glad she got to get her award in person and everything too. I love that.
It was wonderful. So then we're going to go on to Best Supporting Actor. Now, this category for me was stacked, right? This was one of those categories where I was like, I hope this particular person wins. Yes. I'm sure they're going to win. But this is one of those categories that was very reminiscent of Ray versus Hotel Rwanda with Don Cheadle and Jamie Foxx, right? It was one of those type things like, oh, it could be any of you, but this performance is everything type situation. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it was amazing that Daniel won because, I mean, he like we said previously, amazing job. He needs a beating. His mama need to get him, put him on punishment, time out for that speech. Mama, get him. Go tell him, go sit in the corner for 5 minutes because he should not have said that. He know better.
I was dying.
You know better.
My daughter was in the room during that part, which didn't bother me. Like, it didn't bother me for to hear it. But when he made the joke about, can you imagine? And this many years ago, they met, they had sex, and I was like, and my daughter's like, there are underage people in the room. And I was just like, girl.
Listen, I was like, if I was his mama, I would have been like, what is wrong with you? I mean, but I feel like it was him being true to himself.
Yes.
Daniel, listen, give me a little bit of voice fishing in your speech next time since you like the voice fish so much.
Not the voice fish, but yes, like I've seen of the nominees in this category, I saw all the movies but one. I actually saw all the performances but one. This was one of the categories and I was just like, out of the 4 people I saw, this is a stacked category. I think Brad got it. I think this is his. But while I would have been surprised, there's a few people that I was like, I could see
Yeah.
how it could go depending, but Daniel ate in that role, left no crumbs. Like there was nothing left. I loved his speech. It was a lot of energy. He brought up big important parts, and I just loved how the Black boy joy celebration, big smile, happy. Shout out to my folks making these jokes, but still letting y'all know like we got work to do.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna go into some less.
Okay.
They're not less. They are what is it called? They are not the acting categories.
Technical, like the technical.
The technical, yes, technical category. So we're gonna talk about hair and makeup. We're gonna talk about the score.
Yes.
And we're gonna talk about, was it costumes I wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I'll be costuming.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with hair and makeup. And again, another first. And so PSA, I want us to stop having first. Like it's amazing and it's beautiful. And I think every person, group, collective, gender, race, ethnicity should get their spot to shine. But I want us to stop being at first in the 21st century. The winners for hair and makeup was from Ma Rainey Blackbottom, and it was Mia Neal and Jamaica Hill, I think was the other name. I'm sorry, Jamaica.
Yeah, no, Jamaica Wilson.
Jamaica Wilson. I made up your name. I'm sorry,
yeah, Mia Neal and Jamaica Wilson.
Jamaica Wilson. I'm sorry. First of all, I love that Viola Davis chooses to use a team that she uses anyway. I think that shows a level of respect and trust when you are putting together a project that means so much to you and you include your team that has just been with you for other things. I think that's amazing. Second of all, Miss Mia, you slayed. I see why you do hair, because your hair was fabulous. I was like, oh, I want to cut my hair because of her hair. But I thought your team was beautiful. I thought your speech was amazing. And congratulations. I mean, that's really all I had to say about that one.
And then Ma Rainey got costume design.
Yes, costume design.
Yeah, so they were killing it on that, on the aesthetics because I think people like the clothes, so many pieces play a part in telling these stories. And sometimes we don't think about those things, but it's like the visual experience is so incredibly, and when done wrong, like when done right, sometimes you notice it and sometimes you don't because it blends in. But when done wrong, it can pull you out of a scene completely. So it's very important.
Yeah, and that's what baffles me about the Oscars is that a movie literally can sweep all of these technical awards and all these things, and then they never win the big awards. And I'm just like, but how?
We had some movies that won more than one award, but we didn't have the big sweeps that we see some other years. True. And it's not the first time this has happened, but there's some years where who's all getting the big awards because their movie is killing it in all these other ones. But I just wanted to bring up real quick. I made a quick note of this.
Okay.
Editing, director, screenplay, both adapted and like could have two screenplays, one that's adapted and original.
And one's original.
Right. And cinematography all got awarded to different films.
Huh.
And I went back to double check this and I was like, a lot of these awards, like nobody really just swept the technicals. And
that has happened in years past where they typically would sweep the technicals. So it's kind of like, you won, right?
Yeah. I didn't know what Best Picture would be because of that. I was like, I guess we'll just have to wait till they announce it, which we'll get to it. But
I kind of knew. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, the film
jump in it. That's cool. We can go to Best Picture.
We can jump in it. I knew, like, realistically, while all of the other films were great, they had that one film darling of the year, and Nomadland has been that movie.
It was.
Again, I gave you my critique on that previously. But Nomadland has been their cup of tea. It has been that movie that is like the media darling.
Yeah.
And so realistically, I would have been surprised if it did not win. I will say that Miss Frances, why did you howl Like I was confused. But I mean, I guess I was confused.
Frances is
But you were
Frances.
excited. So I was like, let her be great and celebrate.
Frances is another eclectic spirit. We will say
I was
Frances
confused.
gonna do what she want to do, and I don't care if you think I should do this on the stage or this. I'm going to do how my spirit moves me, and I gotta respect that because she hit that howl, and the cast seemed to know they went with it. So I said, you know what, y'all
Yeah.
have your moment. Do what you feel. That leads me into something we can celebrate. That's a good spot to talk about because you mentioned direction.
Mhm.
Chloe Zhao
Hey, Chloe.
won and is the first, again, these first,
First.
the first woman of color. I want us to sit on that for a second because I didn't just say first Asian woman, first whatever. No, I said woman of color on purpose because I want to include the umbrella. She is the first woman of color, period, to win Best Director. Again, ever. There is never, not a Black woman, Hispanic woman, Asian woman, Indigenous woman. No, she is the first woman of color to ever win for Best Director. Again, we are in 2021. So while I am so glad it happened and I am celebrating it and I am happy for her, it's well earned. It is wonderful. I'm not taking none away, but I also still hate that we are on so many firsts. I'm glad some of these firsts are getting knocked out.
But I believe we are on the 93rd Oscars. So if we're on 93rd. The 93rd, we should not be still having first. 93. Y'all did this show 93 times. 93. Come on now. Let's now get into some of the really parts of the night.
You know what?
Because we're gonna end on a high note, so I want to go with the wow.
Oh, you want to end on a high note?
End on a high note.
Okay. Well, okay.
Look, unlike the Oscars, I want us to end on a high note.
Let's crash right into it. Let me just say that as I was watching, because watched many of these things throughout my time. I've always loved the Academy Awards. Haven't always loved the results, but I always come back for more every year. When they announced Best Picture, not at the end, when we weren't at the end of the show, and they announced Best Picture, it threw me off for a second because Best Picture is almost always at the end of the show. The last time it wasn't was in like 1972. Random fact, right? But in general, literally, that's how far back I had to go to find the last time that it wasn't the last, like that's the last award of the night. It always is. Think back to the La La Land Moonlight debacle. That was the end of the show. Like that
was the very end of the show, and they were just able to catch
everybody up. So when they didn't announce Best Picture, when they didn't announce it last, the first thing I thought was, oh, Chad is gonna win later on because they are moving Best Actress and Actor to the end. Because I couldn't think of any other reason why you moved that to the end except you wanted to close on that. Almost like that's gonna be, they had the memorandum section when we talked about all the people we lost. I have some feelings about that because some people you fly through them and other people you linger, and I don't always like
and then they missed a few people, which I thought was like, I get it. That is a hard job. The memorandum is a really hard job. So I am not critiquing anyone for doing that job because that is a hard job to make sure you literally capture every person who is in the industry, who's attached to the Academy in this 1 minute reel.
Yeah.
I also think people forget to realize that when the Academy is doing this reel, you actually have to be a member of the Academy for them to capture you in it. I did applaud that they had the late great Earl Simmons, DMX. I was like, go ahead, look at y'all in there. I thought that was awesome. Because people forget that he was an actor.
That's what I was about to say. In multiple movies, even if you'd only been in one or two at that point, like you're part of, like if you did your card, your deal, all that stuff. But I'm like, he's in multiple movies, including even cameos. So he was in a lot of movies, actually.
So, so I thought that was awesome that they were able to capture him in such a short time as well. But you know, that I'm with you. Like they do linger on some people and not others. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah, yeah. So I just knew at this point we get to the end and we only have best actress and best actor. Because again, normally you got best picture after that. That's like
Right.
usually the order. So we go ahead and we are doing, we're going, and I just thought, okay, yeah, it's the last award. It's gonna be Chad's. And then Joaquin,
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
yeah, Joaquin was like, he opened that thing up and it was.
I'm going to demonstrate. It's the
No,
envelope.
yes, please show the people. Show the people.
It's the envelope. And he was like,
the winner is
Anthony Hopkins. I accept this award on behalf of the Academy.
Show
Like,
over. Boom, pow, boom.
That was it. And we were like, wait, what?
Like, show was over. But by them making the choice to just roll the dice and assume that Chad was going to get this award, because they don't know. So they rolled the dice. They were like, we're going to switch up the whole broadcast and make this last so we can have this big moment. So when he didn't win, and even people that I have seen who have said that they weren't sure if he was going to win, they were hearing little murmurings, or people, some of the Academy voters had said some things about, I think, he has it, so I voted for this person instead, or I did this. You hear these little murmurings, right? But they banked that he would win. So the fact that there was this huge collective like, oh, so that moment's not happening. So the fact that the show ended on the, it's not what y'all think, and I accept this award on his behalf, and then the show just ended, like it didn't end on a speech. It didn't
even just end. Let me tell you, Questlove, literally his face was like, okay. And then he just kind of like, I don't even know what the song was because he hit it so quick and it was just like, that's it, it's over type. His whole face was like the epitome of shock. Like, what do I do now? Because that's not what I was supposed to do type thing. And like, for me, I'm with you, like Sir Anthony Hopkins, like anybody who can play Hannibal Lecter and make me still have empathy for them is an amazing actor. Okay. But so like Bianca, I do not think that he did not deserve the award. I think he's an absolute phenomenon when it comes to acting. And if he won, it was a well-deserved win. But like Bianca, the setup was so disappointing. Like, you like set everybody up to break their heart. Like,
let's move into Best Actress. I want to go over the nominees real quick.
Go ahead, let's list them.
We have Viola Davis,
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
There you go. Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Woman. Vanessa Kirby in Pieces of a Woman. Audra Day in the United States versus Billie Holiday, yes. And then Frances McDormand
and Nomadland.
Nomadland. Now, Frances McDormand wins. This is her third Academy Award. So again, I'm not knocking her.
Don't need no more. I'm joking. No, she's not. I'm joking.
But and I believe this was a choice that fits the movie. So in some ways, maybe I'm being unfair, because to me, her character wasn't that far off of her general personality, but I'm not knocking that, because I felt like it was a creative choice. I have seen her transform in roles. I've seen her do great work. She has an incredible career. She is a phenomenal actress. In this movie, I felt the movie had a documentary-ish feel, despite not being a documentary. And so I felt she made that choice to kind of be a little more herself, bring some of that realness, that authenticity, as far as how would me, and it's like, I don't have to transform my general characteristics, some of my eclectic isms and things like that. I can kind of play myself and still give a performance that's very fitting to the character I'm playing and the type of movie and vibe that's going on. So I'm not saying this was like, oh, you saying she lazy because she was playing herself. No, it probably fit for this. But it just didn't excite me compared to like the energy and the some of the other roles.
I thought it was gonna be Carey. If it was not Audra, I thought it was going to be Carrie.
I had a feeling too. She's a darling. She's done things.
Yeah.
It's an interesting role. Haven't seen the whole movie, but know the role, know of it. But I was surprised a little bit. But then I guess it won director, picture, and then you give it another one of the big awards. I guess that was the closest thing to a sweep we had since none of the movies swept everything. So maybe I should have anticipated it. I don't know.
Like I said, I thought Audra because wow, this is your first time in a feature film. Like this is your feature film debut, your first gig ultimately as an actress, and you just smashed it wide open. So just the appeal of that was like, okay, maybe possibly.
Yeah.
Viola is always phenomenal, but I can see why, they were like, Viola, you're great. Now elevate it type thing. So I could see that. But like I said, if it was not Audra, Viola, I wasn't quite sure. Right. But then Carrie, I was like, I could see her winning.
Before we close up, this was a lot. Like a lot happened in this telecast. Well, let me not say good. Well, there were good moments. There were some.
We're gonna say each of us gonna give our favorite moment of the night. Ooh. And yeah, we're gonna give our favorite moment of the night. So we're gonna give our favorite moment of the night. 2 movies we think you all should see. And then we're gonna wrap up.
And a movie we're gonna see that we haven't.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm gonna let you go first. Go first with your favorite moment, but just don't steal mine.
Oh, I'm probably gonna steal yours.
Then I'm gonna go first.
What's been my movie of the year? Daniel winning.
That was my favorite.
Was actually my favorite moment. If I have to pick one, because it was hard actually. I had a couple, but Daniel winning just because it really brought my heart great joy.
Yeah, that was fun. His mama should still make him sit in the corner for 5 minutes. But so that was a good favorite moment. I guess I didn't put that much stock into that moment because I was just like, you're embarrassing your mother. I'm over you. My favorite moment of the night was when, and I spoke on this moment before, just a smidge bit, but when Little Rel and Questlove did the trivia. And first they went to Audra Day, and she called out that Purple Rain was not nominated, but she's not surprised. Did not realize she was so spicy in real life. I love it.
Yes.
Then
I didn't know she had a personality. I just knew it like she sang Rise Up. Now I'm getting to know her. Awesome.
Then he went to Daniel, and as the song played, the great, the amazing Glenn Close decides to tell Daniel, oh, baby, you too young. You're not going to know nothing about this, right? And Glenn Close was 100% correct because Daniel knew nothing, absolutely nothing about it, okay? And which made it very comical. So Little Rel decides to then come to Miss Glenn Close because, why not challenge the beautiful seasoned saint who just told somebody they were too young to answer a question?
Yeah, it was like, well, moving on to you then.
Right. And so the song played. And before you can get 3 notes in, Glenn Close was like, oh, I know that. That's the butt. And Lil Rel was like, what you know about that? What you don't do, Little Rel, is challenge your elders, okay? So that's where you messed up. You messed up because you challenged an elder. So she shut you down with some fun facts. She said, boom, the butt had Spike Lee had it for his film, School Days. Yeah. She gave you the film and was like, it was the travesty that her friends at the Academy did not nominate it. She was mad about that. Then she hit you with the fun fact that it is Go-Go from the District of Columbia by EU. She shot out Sugar Bear. She shot out Backyard. And she shouted out the DMV. Now, mind you, I'm a Baltimorean, true and true, but I love my neighbors next door in DC. And when I tell you, when she did all of that, I was thrilled. I said, you better know your little DC Black cultural history, Miss Ma'am.
And could do the butt.
But then to add on that, Lil Rel was both shocked and concerned. She then could do the dance. I was done for the night. I was like, I don't need to see the rest of this show. That was it for me. That was my highlight.
Play the music. Wrap this up.
Wrap it up. That was the highlight for me, that this 74-year-old woman knew that much information about that cultural phenomenon. And the fact that I believe she has never won an Oscar, but has been nominated 8 times. It's very sad.
Ooh, gosh. Yeah, Glenn
Very
Close,
sad.
she's a treasure. That was a moment. That was a moment.
Yeah.
That might have been the moment, but yeah,
Yeah.
you got me.
Yeah.
2 movies that I've seen that I recommend is,
Okay.
if you haven't figured it out by now, I really like Judas and the Black Messiah. If
Okay.
you didn't already know, I do. I love it. That's my number 1 recommendation to all of you. And then my number 2 is no, it's not. I'm just playing with you.
Tell us movies.
I'm actually gonna pick something different because I'm gonna look at it from like the mom reference, particularly if you have conversations with your kids. And my kids have seen another movie on here too. They've seen several of them. I'm actually gonna encourage that if you do have children and you want to engage in a conversation about purpose in life and following your heart, I'm gonna go ahead and shout out Soul. That's another movie that I saw.
Okay. So the 2 that I would recommend are, of course, Judas and the Black Messiah. It's kind of hard not to recommend that one. And then The Trial of the Chicago 7. I would definitely, historical perspective. It talks about Bobby Seale.
Yes.
So we're still in the theme of the Black Panther Party and the great power and prestige that they had, and they should get the respect for. So I definitely think those are 2 great movies. Make sure y'all keep checking us out.
Follow us, click and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, there's like a little bell or something down here. Click on that.
Set them notifications. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Melanated Movie Moments.